Today is part 2 of our Daniel Woods interview when we caught up with him in Helsinki. In this episode, we discover more about his recent move from bouldering to sport climbing.
And moving away from bouldering, you've been spending quite a lot of time in Spain, sort of sport climbing recently.
Yeah.
Like what inspired you to make that change, or not a change, but to be pushing that for a while?
Sure. To be honest, I just have bouldered for a lot of years of my life. I feel like I've reached a point in my bouldering that I was content with for the moment, and I wanted to maybe take what I've learned bouldering and apply it in other aspects of climbing. And I started out as a sport climber before a boulderer, so I was kind of just got this inner bug in the inside of being like, hey, you should try putting on a rope and seeing what you can do on longer routes. And that's when I decided to take a trip to Spain and try some of these classic Chris Sharma Adamandra test pieces.
Did you have to sort of train and get a bit fitter for longer routes, or did you find the change quite easy to make?
I definitely, like, before going to Spain, I spent a good month like preparing, building resistance, and training a lot differently than how I would for a boulder project, because I knew, like, if I wanted to go and complete some of these goals, I needed both power and endurance. So, and to do some of these top level routes, they're very specific, and you need those specific set of strengths to be able to do them, just like in bouldering. So it definitely helped to like train the weaknesses so I could go and like have more success.
When you go back to bouldering like the other day, can you notice that sport climbing fitness?
One thing I noticed is I have a lot more stamina to session for longer. So whereas like in bouldering shape, you only have a couple tries and then you're pretty much cashed. The only flip side to that though is like I lost a lot of like shoulder muscle and like pure raw strength. Just because when I was climbing in Spain, we weren't encountering any boulders at that difficulty. So it was nice actually to like session the other day and like kind of rip up the muscles a bit and like relapse back into that bouldering state of mind and be like, oh yeah, this is why I do bouldering, because it's like a raw pursuit of climbing, you know, it's fun.
You were in Norway for a bit.
Yeah.
I know you went to check out some of like Adamandra's projects and his climbs that he's been doing.
Yeah.
Like, how hard are we talking here? These things just...
His routes are crazy. They're pretty hard. I mean, Flatanger, it's a really cool place. The climbing style is a lot of that like I'm used to seeing at home. Like Thor's hammer was a bouldery intro to a rest, to another boulder, to a rest, and then to like a long endurance section. Change is really bouldery at the top. So all these hard routes, you're dealing with like upper end boulder problems and they're just stacked on top of each other.
Are you going to try to put up some of your own routes? Have you seen lines that have got potential for you?
Sure, yeah, I mean, kind of what I'm doing at the moment is like building my route pyramid and understanding like how these grades work, because to be honest, even at the moment, like being able to see a line and being like, yeah, I think that could be like 9A or 9A plus or 9B, it's really challenging. And in order to like know how those grades work, you have to like go and try the lines and understand like why they are what they are, you know? It's cool, it's a different mentality.
Do you have any interest in doing big wall stuff or like these super long multi-pitch routes? Does that interest you at all? Or,
yeah, I mean, eventually I kind of want to be like known as a climber that can do every aspect of climbing, and that's also what keeps it interesting. Like, if I'm kind of learning, if I stick to just one thing, I get bored pretty easily, and I want to, in order to excel as well in the sport that you do well at, it's good to take a step back, try other things, build different strengths, and then come back and try to find a project that kind of wraps in all these different strengths into one, you know? So big wall climbing is just the next step. So it'd be cool to go to Yosemite, and the Verdon and climb some of those like amazing looking walls.
Scary though, right?
For sure scary, especially for us. It's like we're just used to like, I mean, the tallest boulders we do are like 8 to 10 meters, you know?
Yeah. When you sport climb, is it falling off and like the big fall aspect of it? Is that something you battled with, or is it easy for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like transitioning over into sport is way different. Getting comfortable with your equipment, being comfortable with climbing far above the bolt. But that's also where highball bouldering will come in, because you think back and you're like, I've done all these highballs, like I've learned how to control the fear a little bit. So when I'm on a big run out on a sport climb, in fact, you feel safer because you're like, well, I could pitch from here. I'm going to take like a 10 meter, even 15 meter fall, you know, but at least I have a rope to catch me. Whereas on a boulder problem, if you fall from that height, you're going to get seriously hurt. So highball bouldering's definitely helped out a lot with that.
Like, what's your coping mechanisms? When you're in that no fall zone, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, the best to try to do is stay present, focus on your breathing, focus on what's in front of you. It's taken me now like 10 years bouldering hard things and higher things to be able to get to the level where I feel like I know how to manage my fear. No! Certain days just aren't meant to be, you know? Some days you get up there and you're like, I shouldn't go for it today because I'm going to get seriously hurt, and then other days you don't even think about it.
And you've been involved in like this climbing world, this climbing scene for so long. Like, where do you see it moving on to in the next couple of years? Because there's some really strong kids coming up now.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, where do you see climbing going in the future?
Climbing's definitely becoming more popular, which is really nice to see. More people are getting into it. There's a strong upcoming generation. What I've noticed a lot about this new generation is they're starting training at a younger age, and they just have a lot more tools now to work with than what we had in the past, you know? They have a lot of online media to get beta from, just more opportunity, I think, to go outside as well. Like, they have team coaches that will take them out, and we're just now understanding like what is possible for us, and hopefully we can set that bar and the upcoming generation can have something to follow.
And after we leave Helsinki tomorrow, we're out of here. Are you going back home, or are you going to Spain? What's your plans?
After this event, I go back to Barcelona and I'll climb in Spain for a few more weeks, and then I have to travel home because my visa's up. So I'm actually going to be going back home to get a visa because the plan's to move to Spain and try to live over here for a few years.
Oh, cool.
And have more like freedom to be able to travel around and do some of these lines that I've always dreamed of.